Dharma, the spiritual journey towards exploring Hinduism, learning the art of life and finding peace within oneself, with your favorite spiritual host, Dr. Kishore Trivedi from the Hindu Society of North Carolina, exclusively on Bharat TV.
Hari Om and Namaste. This is your host Kishore Trivedi welcoming you to today's episode of Know Your Dharma program. This program is made possible by the Hindu Society of North Carolina and Bharat TV. We have two very special guests today, Deepa Karthik and Deepti Mahajan, speaking about a very timely and important new initiative regarding voting in the US elections, addressing the specific demographics of Hindu Americans. But let's first start with a prayer. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. O Bhagavan Sri Ganesh of large body, curved trunk, with the brilliance of 10 million suns, please make all my undertakings free of obstacles always. So with that, let's see if Deepa ji can you please introduce yourself briefly to the audience?
Dhanyavad Kishorji, and pranams to everybody. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to speak, Kishorji. Before I begin, I must offer a disclaimer that everything that I speak here are my personal views and not the views of the South Brunswick Board of Education, to which I'm an elected member. So I am glad to come here, and a lot of gratitude to you, Kishorji, for having this webinar for us to speak about the Hindu Vote Initiative. Hindu Vote Initiative is a project of Hindu Pact, which is a project of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad USA. I'm very glad and very proud to be associated with this particular project. This Hindu Vote Initiative that we have started here in Hindu Pact is really to bring clarity to the Hindu voters, to give them information, to empower them with the necessary knowledge that they need, create more awareness, so that they can vote with a dharmic lens. We have, as you can see, I'm sharing on my screen. This is our website, thehinduvote.org. You can go here, hindupact.org and to hinduvote.org, and you will get all the information here. And as we go through this webinar, I will explain to our viewers, how we can use this tool, which is really a first-in-class, tool that Hindu Pact has created for all our Sanatani brothers and sisters, so that they can be more aware, more enlightened, more empowered to bring a more aware democracy in their communities.
Very good. Very good. Deepti, you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Namaste, Kishorji, and namaste, and thank you to all your viewers. My name is Deepti Mahajan, and I am a co-convener for Hindu Pact, and I work on multiple projects within Hindu Pact, and Hindu Vote being, like you mentioned earlier, very timely done. We have worked really hard on this initiative, and we hope that this will benefit all your viewers and they can make a more informed decision by visiting our website, hinduvote.org.
Wonderful. Can you tell us about the origin of this project? Why did it come into being in the first place? And who were the people behind it?
Yeah, so so Hindu Vote is a Hindu Pact initiative, right? So Hindu Pact is the advocacy wing of Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America, or what we call it, World Hindu Council. And so we have been working on this for over a year and a half now, and a lot of people have been working in the background to make this happen. I think, and as long as I remember, the idea floated that, and Deepa will also share her thoughts on this, that, we all have seen people being confused about how to make a decision, who to vote for. And we are scrambling at the last minute, okay, so just sharing notes and cheat sheets with everybody. So most of the time, like whoever my husband voted for, or my wife voted for, or my friends voted for, let's just use that cheat sheet. And that is not how we should be voting in real time. So the idea was to give a tool, a resource in the hands of Hindus specifically, like in the light of everything that we have been facing in the last couple of years. We'll talk about that more. But that was the decision making, a thought process that Hindus as a community need a tool to be more prominent, to make their voices heard, and make sure that we are putting people who are pro our community and pro our thought process in power.
Very good. So it seems that there are four different objectives of this project. And one of them is, of course, make sure that Hindu Americans are aware that they need to vote. Voting is very important. Second, make Hindu Americans aware of the issues that they might want to care about, Hindu issues, if you will. And then the third, make the candidates aware of the issues that Hindus care about. And finally, there is a lot of confusion among mandirs whether or not they can participate in the this process. So to tell mandirs as to what they can or cannot do in this political process. So on each of those issues, can you elaborate as to how this new initiative will help?
Yeah, surely. Thank you so much, Kishorji. I will, I would really love to elaborate on a little bit what Deepti here said. Oftentimes we, Hindu Americans, we vote, but we don't know what we want out of our legislators, out of our elected officials. So Hindu Vote has come up with the American Hindu Agenda for 2024, which really lays out an 8-point sort of, an agenda for what we as a community are looking for from our elected officials. And in a minute, I'll share that with you on the screen. And the whole objective of this is to sort of channelize our energies towards, being focused on these particular points and issues that concern our society, our Sanatani community, and there are issues also that affect us. So I just wanted to also say that this American Hindu agenda has been sort of crystallized by speaking to multiple advocacy organizations. We had multiple iterations and workshops, and this is not just the work of a siloed group of people, but an entire community has come together to provide these inputs. And beautifully, they have we have collated 8 points which are pertinent to our community. And in a minute, I'll share that with you here on my screen. As you can see, it's all available for all of us to look at. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Bigger one is slightly better.
Yeah.
But before that, I can preface by, I was at a recent fundraiser for Kamala Harris in June, and there were a lot of Indian Americans there. Not a single one was aware about any issues at all. So they think of it as a photo opportunity, give the money and get done with it, So it is very, very important to somehow make them understand this agenda that we are talking about. So please go on.
Yes, absolutely. I think you made a very pertinent point, Kishorji. We are unaware. It's not because of, it's because of the rush of life that we are going through. Most of us have day jobs, we've got family to look after, and a lot of sort of, other, things that take our attention away, right? So it's very difficult for us to sort of bring all of that together. So what we've done is we've made it easy for our community to look at what are the issues that are important to us. So I'll just go, this is no particular order of importance as such, but just 8-point agenda. So the first is Hindu hate. We know that there have been a lot of Hindu-phobic incidents that have happened here in United States, especially to our Sanatani brothers and sisters. We know incidents where they have been attacked physically, where there have been slurs that have been sort of, that they've been subjected to. So we want our legislators to basically support legislation that bans Hinduphobia. We don't want them to, we don't want them to sort of move away from it. We want legislators to come boldly in front and ban, Hinduphobic acts. As
in particular, you're talking about the resolution by Thanedarji?
Yes, the one that he has floated currently in Congress. We are looking, we hope that more and more senators and congressmen support that bill, right? And that fructifies very soon. So we are looking for that kind of resolution. We have all eyes on it, so that we get, we get some concrete action from our senators and congressmen. The second is Hindu temples, the vandalization of Hindu temples. We want our sacred spaces to be protected. There are over 1,000 mandirs in United States. They are vulnerable to attacks. So we want our legislators to look into, sort of a legislation that will protect these places and also investigate very firmly, without delay, any vandalism of our places. As you know, very recently there was an attack on the Sacramento Babs Mandir, right? So, and this has been happening continuously. Like I have seen over the period of time that I have been here, more so in the recent past, there are a lot of our mandirs are being attacked. They're being vandalized. So we want our legislators to look into that. We want our legislators also. Sorry, did you have a question?
So, not a question, but something occurred to me. I recently interviewed Shajiv Jagannathan of HSMN, Hindu Society of Minnesota, and he pointed out that there were some burglaries, robberies in their temple, and he was able to actually get to the White House and get action on that. So it's something that maybe other mandirs can learn from. It may be useful. Shajiv Jagannathan, I don't know whether you remember him from HMEC. He is a very effective speaker, but he has a very good insight into how to get the authorities to act. Just an aside, I didn't want to forget it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And our Hindu Mandir Executive Conference, that is a very good forum. Vishwa Hindu Parishad USA's project. It's a very good forum for all the mandirs to come together. This is really certainly something we want to get the word out. We want more. Right now we've got hundreds of temples attending that conference, but it'd be wonderful if more mandirs can join and come to that conference, where really this type of information exchange happens. It's a wonderful forum. So thank you for bringing that up.
But in particular, that particular mandir and that particular outfit, Hindu Society of Minnesota, is very effective, from what I understand, in this temple security issue. So
I see. Okay. Yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm sure he shared that in the executive conference as well, in some of the workshops. So that information has definitely gone to the attendees that were present there. The third point on our American Hindu agenda I wanted to focus on is the legal immigration and fast tracking of it. As you know, a lot of our Sanatani brothers and sisters are literally languishing, waiting to naturalize or getting green cards, etc., so they can be permanent residents here. They are law-abiding citizens, taxpayers, productive citizens of this country. But yet they are, they have to wait through the red tape that is really sort of making it difficult for them to naturalize here in this country. So we want our legislators to look at fast tracking green cards as well as work visas for our community. The fourth point here is fairness in education and employment, which is the affirmative action case. You're well familiar with that. We, as a community, we are looking for merit-based either employment, education opportunities, but opportunities in all aspects of life are based on merit. We want to make sure that we are not being unfairly targeted based on race or color or any of that sort. We want to make sure that we have legislators who support the Fair Admissions Act. So the fifth point here is the human rights. Obviously, we know that religious theocracies like Afghanistan, Pakistan are really persecuting Hindu minorities in their country. We know the drastic drop of Hindus in Pakistan during independence 1947. If my memory serves me right, there were more than 23% Hindus in Pakistan. Today, they're less than 1%. So where did all the Hindus go? There have been great atrocities on the minorities in these countries, and we want that United States takes strict action against persecution of Hindu minorities in these countries. The same goes for Afghanistan. You know what's playing out in Bangladesh now recently after the fallout of the government. So, these are all issues that affect us as a community. Our Sanatani brothers and sisters are globally spread. They're in various countries. They live in various countries. So their well-being is something that we are concerned about. The 6th point here is the historic artifacts. That we have many beautiful artifacts. Our murtis, etc., have been stolen during colonization during that period, and are in different places in different countries. So we want United States to help us repatriate all our all these murtis that are very meaningful to our dharmic culture, and we want them to go back to Bharat, which is their rightful place. And the 7th point here is a foreign policy that I'm speaking about. We know Bharat is the Matrubhumi of our dharmic civilization. We want a cordial relationship with Bharat, with India. We want to make sure that we promote a healthy partnership with Bharat, and also we want to make sure that there is proper representation in the USCIRF. That right now we don't have Hindu voices on this particular commission, and we know that these agencies keep sort of spewing information that is not factual and biased, and that really affects our second generation of Hindus growing up here. Our youngsters, they read these reports and they feel like we are not giving them accurate information. So it's really important that we have a proper Hindu representative appointed to these agencies. And as you know, Bharat has always been an environmentally sustainable, culture. We've always supported environmentally sustainable practices, and that is something that's important to us, and we want to encourage legislation around that as well. So this is our 8-point agenda. It's available for all your viewers also to see it, Kishorji. And I think this really sums up a lot of our concerns, the subject matters that are important to us as a community.
Absolutely. So the question is how to make more people aware. Is it that are we talking to the in the echo chamber, or are we reaching the people who are not part of the VHPA family? So that's one concern, right? Now, also on the matter of foreign policy, I learned about another organization that has been recently started, which consists of Sikhs, Buddhists, and Muslims, and South Asians, but no Hindu. Have you heard of that organization, EMAS or something like that? I should have researched it ahead of time, but a few days ago I came to know about it. Again, Hindus are excluded from the voice in the administration, so that issue continues, and we have to work very hard. But in any case, what about the fact of approaching the candidates or the legislators so that they fill out the forms that we have, right? That's a hard task.
Yes. So I just wanted to give your viewers a quick sort of a view of what HinduVote.org can do for us, right, as a community. So just a brief sort of example, right? I'm busy in my life. I live in a particular town. I know that I've received a mail-in ballot, or I know that the presidential election is November 5th. In the state that I live in, there is a governor's race happening next year. So, races will keep happening. There'll be elections every year, depending on the cycle that I am going through, right? And I'll share it in a minute, my screen, so that you have a view. So you see, I was on this particular page, right? I have gone to this tab called 2024 elections. Okay. I click here, and here I have a page that takes me to the Hindu vote guide. Okay. This is a guide. Most important thing for your viewers to know, we at Hindu Vote are a non-partisan, non-partisan project. We are not trying to sway a group one way or the other, or an individual voter one way or the other. All we are presenting is information that is easy to access at a click of a button, so that you are not struggling as a Hindu voter to go from one end to the other end trying to figure out which was the legislation that was important to us as a community. So that is the aim of HinduVote.org. Now I'm just going to, as an example, I am going to use a particular, I'm going to use a zip code, okay?
You can use mine if you like.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Give me your zip code.
27705.
All right. So I have Eric Blankenberg, who is your representative, a
No,
Republican.
one is Valerie Fauci.
Valerie Fauci,
Mhm.
North Carolina 4. Okay. So if I click on Valerie Fauci, it basically gives me a couple of things. So you can see here, there are quick links here. We are going to be surfacing what are the PAC funding details of this particular candidate. So, for example, you are going to get details of how much money has Valerie raised, which are the PACs that are supporting her. Okay, you will get a relationship view, which we are currently building. So in a day or two, this will also be populated. So we're going to have a relationship view. You can see it here, but this is mainly sort of a diagrammatic representation of who are, how is Valerie connected, which are the PACs she's connected to, which are the corporations that she's connected to, etc. So this is still this is work in progress. You will know what is her position, in terms of like the questionnaire that we had sent to her. How has she answered the key votes and a voter survey? So we are trying to build a 360-degree engagement between us and our candidates.
But hold on. So her answers to the questionnaire are not there right now, right? So
she has received the questionnaire, but she has not responded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is where you ask me what do we need? What we need is we need our like for example, she's your candidate, right? She's from your. So I will say, Kishorji, please, if you can help follow up with her, because we are doing our follow up from Hindu Vote. But as a community, if you can petition her and say that we've sent you a questionnaire, hinduvote.org has sent, please respond to our questionnaire. We know where you stand on our issues. That will build that first level of engagement that we want.
So, but is it an individual that they will respond to, or a collective?
No, she will respond individually. So each of your representatives have received a questionnaire themselves. They are not responding as a block.
No, but what I'm saying is that if I approach her as an individual, is that good, or collective?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh yeah. Many people have helped us get responses from their congressmen and their senators that way.
I think one Kishorji is asking if I'm getting it correctly, that is she going to respond to him if he asks the question, or is the response going to be on our website?
Oh, that way. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood that question. It is going, because this is an automated questionnaire that we have sent to her. She will receive a link. So she has to use that link to respond to this questionnaire. When she responds to this questionnaire, the responses will get automatically populated.
Actually, my question was the other one, namely that should I try to get a petition from the community, or simply I write myself? That's the question.
I think both can be done, Kishorji.
Okay.
Both of these can be done. Sometimes candidates respond if individuals reach out to them. Sometimes they respond better if a group reaches out to them. Whichever ways you want to, you can mobilize yourself in your community's life. For example, if you have and this is where something like the Hindu mandirs can help us also, because you have a community that comes together, that prays together, that congregates together. They say, okay, you know what, this particular candidate did not respond to this questionnaire. Let's all write together as a group. That can work as well. And that's perfectly legitimate activity that you can do, because all you're asking for is a response on certain questions that are important to you as a community.
Very good.
Okay. Yeah. So that can be done. So I'll just quickly go through this questionnaire. So how did we come up with a questionnaire? Again, we had workshops with various advocacy groups. We came up with questions that were important to the community. So it was not one way or the other. And a couple of things that stood out was Hindu hate, affirmative action, immigration policies. We already touched upon these in our Hindu agenda. International human rights was one of them. Foreign policy, sustainability and environment, free speech, one of them. Gun control and abortion was important to the community as well. So these questions made their way into this questionnaire.
Very good.
Now, the most important, according to me, the gem of this particular, and I love it personally. So, of course, all of these aspects are very important because they kind of tell you a story about the candidate. It's not one way or the other. Sometimes, if you just look at one aspect of a particular response, you may not get the entire story. So, this particular HinduVote.org, what does it do? It tells you how much money this particular candidate was able to raise in its election, which are the PACs that supported them. The political action committees that support this candidate tells a very important story, right? So who are these candidates? Who are they engaging with? Because PACs support those who whichever candidate is favorable to them. So if you have a lot of Hindu PACs supporting a candidate, you know that they are favorable to Hindu causes. If you have a non-Hindu sort of PAC supporting a candidate, then that tells a different story, and then you can make your own deductions from that, right? So it tells you the funding story. It also tells you, this candidate questionnaire tells you where they stand on these issues. So this is purely their response without any color, anything. They have the opportunity to respond to your questions. And then these are the key votes. So we spoke earlier about Hindu phobia, the Sri Thanedar's resolution that that was introduced. This is that resolution. So what we have done here is we have gleaned the most important resolutions that are pertinent to our community, surface them here, and we are making it easy for an individual voter to just click on this particular resolution. It will take you to congress.gov, and then you know what's happening here. So Sri Thanedar introduced this on 10th of April. It is currently introduced in the House. There are, these are the actions that have been taken on this particular bill. What are the related bills, if any? How many co-sponsors are there? So it tells you there are 19 co-sponsors of this particular bill. So that tells you a story as well, right? Like who is supportive of this particular resolution. So that kind of, indicates a certain favorability as well. And then basically, going down the list, this kind of helps us understand what kind of action. See, I mean, we know that our political candidates will come and see a lot of things, but ultimately how they vote decides how the laws will be formulated, what are the policies that the government is going to come out with. So this is really the action-oriented piece, like how are they really acting in Congress. And then the last part is the voter survey, which is I, as a candidate, have an opportunity to survey my candidate. And this is really something that is important to the candidate also, because now they know how their constituents are engaging with them. What do they feel about if I'm a candidate? What do my constituents think about me? Do they think I'm likely to be supportive of them? Somebody may say we disagree. That means I need to do more work. Somebody may say we agree. That means I can do a little. I am already doing something and I can be better. So things like that. So this is really the a tool which is so important for us. So far, we don't have something like this, and I can't say enough about how important it is for our community to use this particular guide.
So you have to repeat the website. Website is hinduvote.org or hindupact.org, or what is that?
If it will take you to the same website. So if you do www.hinduvote.org, it's going to bring you here.
Okay. So it's very important for people to know about the website if
yes,
with,
yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
Okay. So anything else to add? But primarily, I think we have to engage our community so they're aware. And secondly, we have to get the candidates to respond, right? What number of candidates have responded so far? Do you have that information?
Yes, 63.
63 out of possibly what? How many?
A few hundred candidates. But so obviously, I mean, we are trying to we are a small team here. We are trying our best to do outreach, and that Kishorji, we've spoken offline also about this. So we are trying our best to reach out as many times as we can, but we really need our community to come together and support this. And if you see if you go to the website and you see your candidate has not responded, please reach out to them, reach out to us through hinduvote.org, and let us know if you want to help us get more, get responses, get engagement from your candidates, and we'll be happy to support you.
And Kishorji, just to add one more thing here, that this is an ongoing tool. It's not just for this upcoming elections, right? So we have built this tool and we are providing or we are actually requesting the users or all the Hindus across America to make this their own. This is they should own this. Like you just now you asked how your representative has not filled out the questionnaire. So people should take it on themselves that yes, I need to know whether I should vote for this candidate or not, and I need a response. This is my right. This is my ask, and I will make my decision based on that. So we want your viewers, and we have reached out to through different sources to everybody across North America that this is your tool, this is your thing to use. So make most use of it, and it's an ongoing asset that you will have for all the elections in the future as well.
Yeah, indeed, I think maybe this election may not have that many users of the tool, but next election, by then, it might be well known enough, right? This election is too short a time now to be able to get a lot of people, although we should try. And another question I have is that, what about the funding? Is there a funding appeal to be made through this podcast, or and funding
Absolutely.
to whom?
We
To
would.
Hindu Pact or Hindu Vote, or to whom?
So we
VHPA?
can bring up the QR code. Deepa, do you have the QR code?
Yeah, I'll just bring it up in a minute.
Yeah.
Just give me-
So we definitely would like to make a request because a lot of effort and time and resources have gone into this. And the website creation, the printing of the material, and promotion of this whole thing has its cost. And we would definitely like the viewers and your end users to make a donation, and we can go on hindupact.org. There's a donate button there, and we can share the QR code as well.
You know that some of the older people like me donate from their RMDs, what are called required minimum distributions. So this donate button is not useful for them. They go to their IRA or their 401k and ask them to write a check to the organization. That's how it works. But
Absolutely. You can always write a check to us for Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America.
and the,
I just wanted to add something, Kishorji, to whatever Deepti said. So we are a small team here trying to sort of bring this tool. It is for everybody to use. It is our tool. We all have to own it as a community. As you know, the idea of all of this is to make sure that we become more and more technologically accessible with information as a community, not just to our generation, who are active voters, but our coming generations, that are our young voters, our youth. The Hindu youth is more and more empowered with this information that is important to them, right? We have spent considerable. It's a time, money, and effort that has gone into this particular work. We are continuously improvising it, refining it, making it sharper, making it better, so that we have more and more meaningful data in this particular website. We sincerely hope that people will come forward and support this work. So far, our costs are $110,000. So we are making a sincere appeal to donors, whatever you can, Yatha Shakti, please support this project, because this is really, as Deepti mentioned, a lifelong project. As long as Hindus vote in the United States, Hindu vote will be alive. So we will constantly need, resources to keep up with information, to create more and more databases, knowledge banks, so that even after my life, this particular tool can be utilized by the coming generations and make it better and better. So we have historical data that we can fall back on. We know what were our voting patterns, what were the issues that were important, even 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. We have a tool that we can refer to, so we strengthen it year on year. So it's my sincere appeal that that we do this. If mandirs can support us, that will be excellent. So it's our sincere request to all your viewers, if they can support Hindu Vote.
Yeah, so apart from mandirs, I think we have this Hindu Yuva, Hindu Students Council, and Hindu Student Associations. Now, some of them may be Indian citizens, but many will be US citizens. And I plan to take the material that we have from Hindu Vote to our Hindu Student Association and our Hindu chaplain here at Duke. We have a Hindu Life room, which is where I will keep those things. So I assume that many universities have Hindu chaplains and or these associations. So are we reaching out to them at other places? That's my question. Is there a plan to reach out to various universities where these students might be, young ones are located?
So our first step of outreach is to so mandirs are really the nucleus of Hindu society,
Sure.
right? We all know that, because whether what no matter what your thought process is, everything, everybody goes to the mandir. I think I can make a safe assumption here that we are all going to the mandir at some point during our time. In the year, we are visiting multiple times, etc. We have we really want, so I just want to make a few points here. Basically, this whole concept of separation of church and state is not a dharmic way of looking at things. We always had Raja Rishis in our in the kingdoms, in the in advising our rajas, so they can govern in a more dharmic way. Politics and dharma was never separate. Governance in olden Bharatiya dharmic society was always with a dharmic lens. It was never separate. It was our rishis, our acharyas who used to advise the rajas on how they should govern, how they should rule, what is dharmic, what is dharma, what is adharma. That's how the rules and the and society was shaped. But over the years, we forgot this important aspect of our of our culture and our. So now we want to bring back that dharmic view, of looking at governance of governments, etc., by making sure that we involve mandirs in such a way that they are able to maintain their non-partisan, bipartisan view, and also mobilize the Hindu community to vote, to be engaged in a civic manner. We know very well that there are a lot of other organizations that do it more forcefully, more vociferously, whereas our mandirs have not yet been actively involved. Yes, they do voter registration, etc., but they're not taking it a step further. And here our request is that please take it a step further. And in order for you to take it a step further, we have created at Hindu Vote a very easy sort of guide, so that you will know how to what are the activities you can get engaged in, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, right? So this is a guide for temples that we have here. It's available again for everybody to look at. It's a beautiful guide that all of us can refer to. It's a easy, ready reckoner. There's a little button here at the bottom that you can sort of scroll and go to various pages. So you can see that this is a 37-page book, really mainly focusing on what you can or cannot do in terms of your your organization. So for example, these are rules for non-profits, and these are rules for all non-profits, whether you're a mandir, you're an advocacy group, whatever. You might be having, like, let's say you have a Garba group, right? You're a 501c3 organization, you are a Garba group, and you want to get involved in civically, because I have 2,000 people coming to my Garba, but I want to support my community, but I don't want to be seen as supporting one candidate over the other, which is the right way to do it, because you're a 501 C3 organization. So what can you do? You can do voter education. You can you can have a registration booth. You can, you can educate your voters or your community on the electoral process. And so we put the do's. What can you do? You can do issue advocacy. You can say, hey, we need something that is important to your mission. If you're a Garba group or your cultural group and you want something from your legislators that is important to your mission, you can advocate for that during a Garba. That's totally allowed. You can conduct public education activity, a campaign that's permissible. And so we basically put down all of those, those do's, what you can do. We've also put out a list of what you cannot do. You cannot be partisan. You can't have implicit partnership. I'll request all your viewers to have a look at this. But in when I was in college, we used to have something called a ready reckoner, a book that I used to refer to just before going to exam. This is like a ready reckoner. It's all here, that what can you do, what you can't do. You can, you shouldn't make any political contributions as an organization because you are 501c3. You can't engage in political fundraising. You can't organize a camp asking for political fundraising because you're not a PAC. You're a non-profit. So all of these things, you can't have implicit partnership. I'll touch upon a little bit about implicit partnership. Implicit partnership is that partnership. Suppose, Kishorji, you are running against Deepti ji, and if I just invite Deepti for a campaign,
I won't dare. I won't dare to. But
I wouldn't dare either. But let's assume you are running against Deepti, and I just invite Deepti to the mandir and say, Deepti, why don't you give a speech or do something? That will be implicit partnership if I don't invite you. And I make sure, despite you approaching the mandir and say, I want to come and give, I heard Deepti came to your mandir to give a speech, I also want to come. And if I say, no, you can't come, that's implicit partnership. That means I'm only, I'm kind of So this is something that's code language or messaging or some kind of, ways of like preventing the other side from coming and engaging with your community. So that is something you cannot do, right? So I can't speak, again, I can't say enough about the amazing work that has gone into this, these ready reckoners and these guides. It is all there for our community to use. Now, all we have to do is make use of it and put it into action. That's
absolutely,
all.
absolutely.
So I'll stop here. And also there's a guide for individual Hindu voters that if a particular person wants to know, okay, what can I do? How can I get involved? Okay, mandir mandir is a whole organization. We have to get trustees, etc. involved. But I, as a Hindu individual voter, want to do something. So what can I do? That guide is also available here. Please click on it. You will get the same sort of guide here, and you will you'll get your information. You can go through this particular guide. You see, this is for American Hindu Voters Guide to Elections. Please make use of it. That's our sincere request.
Yeah. So there, one thing I wanted to do is take one of these sheets and put it in the Hindu Society newsletter, and that may be the quickest way for dissemination. So I was asking yesterday in the committee meeting that can we have 8.5 by 11 PDF of that agenda, 8-point agenda, and I think Ajay Bhai said he will send it, but in case it doesn't, maybe one of you can send me. So what I plan to do is send that to Hindu Society newsletter. It goes to large number of people. And second idea I had is to take some of those things, the brochures, to the Hindu Life room at Duke, so that the young people can look at it. And third idea I have, which I think may not work time-wise, but I run a lecture series here every Sunday, and October 27th is empty right now. So if you are willing to, although it may be too late perhaps, but it'll be still 1 week, maybe 10 days before the election. If you can do a talk in that series, you're welcome to, both of you.
Oh, that will be wonderful. Maybe we can talk about that, Kishorji.
Okay. So are there any other messages that you want to pass before we stop the recording?
Yeah, Deepti, why don't you provide your closing comments and then I'll provide mine.
Yeah, so through your channel and your resource, Kishorji, we just wanted to humbly request viewers and everybody who's going to be watching this at some point, please support Hindu Pact, please support Hindu Vote. We are having a lot of initiatives that are specifically designed and working towards Hindu upliftment or providing a larger platform to Hindus across North America. So need all your support. Please visit us at hindupact.org and hinduvote.org. And please look at all the initiatives that we have listed there, and feel free to join us, volunteer, and support in any shape or form you can. Thank you so much.
Very good. Deepaji, anything else to add?
Yes, I just wanted to add one thing, Kishorji, very important. I was just exchanging some notes with somebody. And, oftentimes I hear from our communities, just friends, all well-meaning people, who are contributors in their, in their communities. We don't want to get involved in politics. So this is a thing that I often hear, that we don't want to get involved in politics. Now, politics touches every aspect of our life. It affects the taxes we pay, the countries we visit very easily. How can we get our visas? What universities our children will attend, how they will attend, the issues they will face academically. Our health care, everything is politics. So saying that I don't want to be involved in politics is really a fallacy, because we are already involved in it, whether we like it or not. So I think it's better that we come out of this mindset and say, yes, politics is part of everyday life. And the more we are aware, the more we participate, it will serve us better. Politics is, we come from a generation Deepti and I were speaking about it. We come from a generation where politics has been shunned as a bad word. It's important that good people, educated people, well-meaning people, people with good character come up, they participate in this process, and they make it better. I can endlessly send messages on WhatsApp, etc., but it's not going to make the situation better. Of course, it's going to spread some level of awareness, but the real action happens on the ground. It's boots on the ground that count. So please be engaged in this process. I am speaking from my personal experience that it is best to be involved. This is a long-term initiative that we have launched here at Hindu Pact. Hindu Vote is going to be here for life. As long as Hindus continue to vote in America, Hindu Vote will live. We want to take Hindu Vote to various other places. So we want to strengthen this model and make sure that we are becoming an aware democracy. Hindus are becoming aware voters. So please help join this movement, join all of us, and let's become an enlightened democracy together.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is Nari Shakti, and power to both of you. And let's end with a prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Deepaji and Diptiji, thank you very, very much for taking the time out to educate our listeners on the very, very important topic of voting, and voting with the right issues, being aware of the right issues. And thank you once again.
Dhanyavad.